What is up, Niner gang? Hope everybody's doing great tonight, and I hope my microphone is coming through clear again. Had a little stint there where my microphone was sounding muffled. I didn't know why, so I went through some of the settings, and I think I fixed it now. If not, I'll be fixing it throughout the next couple days, man. But thank you for joining me. First and foremost, please, everybody, before we continue any further, stop whatever you're doing, like the video, please subscribe and turn on hit the bell emoji for all notifications so you guys know every time that I go live, man. I appreciate you guys. I know we already got my boy Brian Colpin here with the comments. Niners winning no matter what, no matter how they have to. Yeah, man, I agree. Today could be a little reminiscent of 2019 when the 49ers were kind of winning in different ways. So we're starting to see a little bit of that. In all honesty, I'm giving my post game reaction. I don't even know if I'm going to go through my notes too much. I really, for the most part, I have a play by play, but I don't know. With a reaction, it's almost unnecessary to go that far deep into it. So I might just save most of that for something tomorrow. But overall, man, outside of the defense, and even the teams did pretty good today. The offense had some spots where they were doing good, but it's just very lackluster for me, man. I'm not impressed. I know a lot of people, you know, at the end of the day, a win is a win. I understand that. I love it. No matter what the score, um, the win is going to go on the record the same way, right? It's not going to show any scores or anything like that. But for myself, my confidence in the team, all that type of stuff, man, it was just way too lackluster for me. I expect more from this team, especially from this offense, man. The defense was great, man. A complete shutout. And it's really a shutout is a lot harder to do when your offense isn't scoring because they're not putting pressure on the opposing team to score as much, right? You can have a 3-0 win game the whole time, right? But the opposing offense will make more mistakes if your offense is scoring points because they have the pressure to have to score multiple times. And so they have to push the ball downfield no matter what. And that helps the defense out, causes more mistakes from that team. So I want to see that from the offense. They need to help out the defense a lot more. We can't continue to play this way, man. It's just, we've talked about it, how inconsistent this team has been, at least for the offense. I know the defense had their little stint there where Mosley went down, and they had to get reacclimated to understanding how to run the defense through D'Amico Ryans doing that without Mosley now, right? Having to go with Jimmy Ward at nickel in the slot and Diamador Lenore playing outside corner. So understanding how they were going to go about things, there was a period of readjustment after Mosley went down. But with the offense, it's just like, dude, you added CMC. Sucks that we didn't get to see Jeff Wilson stay here with us, but we'll get into more of that a little bit later. I definitely want to know your guys' thoughts, but yeah, man, the offense is super lackluster for me right now. Definitely one of the things I can point to again, like many weeks before, man, the offensive line was just pretty bad, I think, man. Jimmy Garoppolo was getting pressured and hit all day, man, and not just tapped, man. He was getting beat to the ground, dude, and I got pretty scared. There was one hit where he rolled out to the right, which is fair. You can't really put that so much on the offensive line because he rolled out of the pocket. But still, man, when he's getting pressured and has to roll out of the pocket almost immediately, it's ridiculous when it's so consistent as it was today, man. Especially like, okay, for me, for example, I've been saying, let Garoppolo run that offense out of the shotgun, which we have been seeing it more. So I love it. We do still have to run play action. So I understand that part, but maybe, just add an extra blocker for Garoppolo. I don't know what you have to do, man, but there's way too much pressure coming on him during pass attempts. And it's having an effect on the pass game overall. We saw it, tipped passes, I think overall Garoppolo had a pretty decent day. It wasn't too great. Like you see, we started to have the happy feet again with all the pressure that was coming from the opposing defensive line and stuff like that. But I guess, let's get back to the defense a little bit. And I want to know your guys' thoughts, comments, questions, all that type of stuff. So please throw them in there so we can, like I said, I have all these notes. I can go through them one by one, but I kind of want to just go with the emotion because it's a quote unquote reaction, post game reaction. So I'm going to try and take that direction, not as logical, maybe just more emotional for the most part. So that's how I feel about it, man. My initial reaction while I'm watching the game is O line, especially McSissy over there, McGlinchey on the right side. It's like relentless every time. If he's not giving up a sack or he's not giving up a pressure, um, it's a penalty. So it's like, dude, it's with McGlinchey, it's pick your poison, dude. Really, like, um, with him, you're gonna either get penalties or you're gonna get pressured on that side. So it's pretty ridiculous at this point. I think they need to find that plan B and get that plan B acclimated as soon as possible and get them ready to replace McGlinchey, man. Because um, at this rate, when we start facing better D line, better defenses, and better teams overall in the playoffs, I don't think McGlinchey is going to cut it at all, and he can cost us games. I think we saw it very clearly in last year's NFC Championship. We had another chance, which Jimmy Garoppolo is really good at those 2 minute offenses, 2 minute drives to win and close out games, lead scoring drives to win games, right? But he wasn't given a chance. The O line let the opposing defense blow right past him. So yeah, man, we got to find a solution to where McGlinchey is replaced at some point soon, I think. And then you saw Burford go down with an injury, which I felt confident once he went down that his replacement player, Daniel Brunskill, who's a very awesome offensive lineman for us because he's such a Swiss Army knife, and even when you switch Burford and Brunskill out, they have that rotation going. You don't see any drop off. It's more like you see the veteran savvy that Brunskill has for sure, and so he has that over Burford. But I think it's almost like they want Burford to develop at that position, so they want to get him more reps there. So either way, I think we're solid at the right guard position. It's that right tackle that I do not like what I'm seeing at all, and this can really cost us games. But we got this dude over here, Mr. Bear Tribe, says defense looking like they might just win the Super Bowl for us though. And that's the thing, defense wins championships. So I like the thought process there. I just think the offense is going to have to play hand in hand with that, right? We got to score points when you get up against teams like let's say for example the Cowboys or the Eagles. Let's say we're facing the Eagles in the playoffs, right? um, you have to score points. The 49ers defense does have a weakness, and it's mobile quarterbacks. We saw it today, even with Andy Dalton, who's not really, if you asked around the league, he's not labeled a mobile quarterback, but he showed mobility today. And he was gashing the 49ers defense left and right. So when you get a guy like Jalen Hurts or maybe even Dak Prescott that can run around and create things off script, you even saw it against Justin Fields against almost a crap team in the Chicago Bears. But if the defense has any point in time where they're going to struggle, no matter what, the 49ers need to score on offense, man. So I love what I'm seeing from the defense. Again, like I said, man, there's nothing to harp on there. Like, it was just great overall play, a couple mistakes here and there. But dude, like the turnovers, man, Fred Warner, beautiful peanut punch on the ball, punched out of Kamara's arms. And poor Kamara, dude, that dude could not catch a break today. First time in his career that he gives up 2 fumbles in one game. So that's pretty awesome that it comes at the expense of the 49ers winning over the Saints. But yeah, man, Hufanga too, dude. Like, I want to give credit to Greenlaw, dude, because on that goal line stand, I saw Kamara kind of inching closer and closer to the goal line when he caught that ball, and Dre Greenlaw grabbed a hold of him but Kamara was still kind of inching towards the goal line. And Hafunga comes out of nowhere and lays that hit on him perfectly on the ball, man. Flies up in the air. Another Saints player almost catches it for a touchdown, and it just goes all over the place, man. A huge moment of suspense, like when the ball goes in the air, really it's like a matter of 1 second, but it feels like forever, right? And yeah, man, just overall for Dre Greenlaw and Hafunga to connect like that with the teamwork, and then for Greenlaw to come up with the fumble recovery on top of that was great, man. It's badass. Hafunga still making plays, dude. I love it. And like we saw a couple of them get mixed into the blitz packages. Saw Jimmy Ward in there getting blitzed. I don't remember if he got there to the quarterback or to the running back. I think it was a run play. So when I did notice these guys running, taking blitz packages, and it was Hafunga or Jimmy Ward, it turned out to be a lot of run plays that they were blitzing on. So we didn't get to see them hit the quarterback that I remember. But either way, man, it was effective. You saw Hafunga in the backfield stopping and stuffing the Saints for lost yardage. So that was badass, man. Yeah, dude, I love it. Fred Warner, just the whole defense was flying all over the place. I could, if I'm gonna nitpick, I can pick on what's his name, Tayshaun Gibson a little bit. I did see when he's supposed to help Diamador Lenore over the top. From what I saw, I think it was cover 3. So 3 man over top, zone coverage, which they've been running a lot, of course. And he gets beat over the top for a post because Diamador Lenore was taking outside leverage, and I'm assuming he was waiting for help from Tayshaun Gibson. That didn't come, and this is going to lead to another conversation, man, where I think it's time that you get Jimmy Ward out of the slot and put him back at safety. I think he deserves that respect. Yeah, I really think Jimmy Ward deserves that respect. This is probably going to be the last year that he's going to be with us, especially if we keep him at nickel. I think Womack is going to continue to develop at that spot and be great for us, especially in years to come. So why not get him reps now? We're seeing Jimmy Ward having trouble with some of those slot guys, but he does make some good plays as well, man. There was one play where he didn't react quick enough, which if he would have just gotten a hand up, would have been a batted down pass. Ended up going for like a first down, maybe around 8 to 10 yards. So there is that, but I think just get him back to his natural position. Again, guys, let me remind everybody, if you have any comments for me, I know I didn't say it earlier, but this is the thing is if you have any comments, questions for me, make sure to put 4 Flames in your comment if you can. If you can. I know some people come through on their computer, so if you can't, I understand. Damian Lee says, beautiful day. I hope the Rams go back to St. Louis. I'm right there with you. And the Chargers will probably have to have a hefty lump sum of money to buy the rest of SoFi Stadium. But yeah, I would love to see the Rams go back to St. Louis. And I don't know how the fans feel about that, but I don't really care. Get them back to St. Louis. Get them out of California. They don't belong there. But, at the same time, it kind of plays into an advantage with the 49ers kind of having that home field advantage in LA too, Levi's South. I almost said SoFi South. David McNew. And you guys let me know how the camera looks, how the microphone looks and everything. I kind of went through the settings and I think I fixed some of the stuff that was wrong with it. But David McNew says, glad we have Brunskill McGarbage actually played well today. Back to calling him McGlinchey until further notice. I disagree, David. I didn't like what I saw from McGlinchey today, man. Like I was saying earlier, with him, dude, it's ridiculous. It's either, okay, do you want him to penalize you or do you want him to be giving up pressures? Regardless, if he's not giving up sacks, he's still giving up pressures. Still, Garoppolo's feeling it, pitter-pattering with his feet, super happy feet, and then having to roll out of the pocket and still getting hit and stuff like that. So I still don't like what I see from McGlinchey. I'm ready to see the replacement as soon as possible, and I hope they have that ready in case of anything in the playoffs. I asked a Rams fan, says Damian Lee, are they going back to St. Louis? I was told I was bitter. Hey, man, it is what it is, man. if you're not seeing the Rams having success over here and you see there's no point, you gotta ask them, right? It's an honest question. I don't see no harm in that. Um, Let me see if I have any other questions here. Randall Riley, thank you for being here as well. If Jalen Hurts continues to keep playing running back in a 17-game season, then playoffs, we will see how well he holds up in the playoffs. It's a long season, and he's not built like Big Ben. That's the other thing too, right? Really, overall, the Eagles are a young team, so I'm not expecting them, especially when I saw them struggle against the Colts and they lost to the Commanders. Um, with the Commanders, that's a division game, so it's a little more understandable, but they're still the weaker team overall. Then you get to where they play the Colts the next week, and they damn near lose the game, get very lucky at the end, and they end up winning it by a hair. So I'm not convinced with the Eagles, man. Do I want to face them? No, I would rather it be in the regular season, but I am very confident in what the 49ers uh, can do. Like I think they could put the whooping on the Eagles. I do completely agree with what you're saying. It's a long season. That type of stuff is not sustainable, but we have seen quarterbacks do it before. So we're going to have to see. I mean, that's kind of something where his coach is a little smarter than Kyle Shanahan was with Trey Lance. So that's the thing. When you're getting your quarterback in space and allowing him to run on scrambles and just getting him in space around the edge, stuff like that, and he's smart enough to know to protect himself as well, running out of bounds, sliding, stuff like that, then, he can have that longevity. Now, if he's not that smart, and I haven't been getting to watch too much of the Eagles, I wanted to watch them right now, but I couldn't. I had way too much stuff going on, but we're gonna have to wait and see, man. He might be beat up. We'll see if he makes it healthy to the playoffs. Good luck to him, but either way, man, I hope the 49ers put the whooping on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles and the Cowboys and the Giants, whoever the 49ers face in the playoffs, the Vikings, whoever it is. The 49ers need to get more consistent on offense first and foremost. Then we can talk about other stuff, I think. 559er, good to see you again. Jimmy and the offense can get us to a Super Bowl, but this defense is the difference between championship and playoff game. 100%. And that's what I'm saying. Right now, the offense, up until a couple weeks ago, we've been pretty honest with ourselves and saying that this offense is not consistent enough. And I've heard other guys talk about it, man, that this team, they get super big-headed when everybody's patting them on the back. And I do want to point this out real quick because I understand it's a short week. The 49ers had one less day to prepare for the game than the Saints did. So I understand that part. I was surprised that Debo played. I think it would have been smarter to let somebody else play, keep him on the sideline if we needed him. But, I mean, he wasn't a huge difference maker today. Some could argue that from a, what do you call it, a distraction standpoint that he is, but I think there's better route runners on the team that would have made a pretty decent impact combined with that overall play and production from Brandon Ayuk, who actually did pretty good today, man. I like what I saw from Ayuk, as pretty much as always. Pretty glad I got his autographed jersey. But back to what 559er is saying here, just the offense has to get more consistent, man. If they're getting too big headed when people give them props for beating the Cardinals and the Rams and the Chargers, who aren't great teams, especially when you blow out the Cardinals and the 49ers come out on cloud nine and forget to put in the work or whatever they got going on, to where the offense is not consistently coming out explosive. That needs to get fixed before we can talk about anything else. I think we all know what we have in the defense. We have plenty of rotational pieces at defense. It's just we have all the pieces on offense. They just need to be utilized in the correct manner. Yeah, man, I'm excited, dude. I am, but I am disappointed. Like I said, this is my reaction. I'm disappointed in the offense. What it all comes down to, I don't know exactly what, but I think pressures from the O-line was the big factor today, and not as much success, not as many points as we probably should have had. David McNew says, our defense was fired today. Our offense was chilly, but we still won. When you say it like that, David, It kind of reminds me of how they call, I don't even want to say it, but Joe Burr, and then of course Joe Cool, Joe Montana. So it's like you almost want to. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like how people say like a slang, the offense is cold with it, like they're cold with it. That means they're kind of like on fire too. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, man. All three phases of the game, the 49ers have to execute at the end of the day. So whatever they got to do to fix what's going on offense to make it consistent, I'm telling you guys, I think it's just McGlinchey, man. You fix the McGlinchey problem, especially since Garoppolo's a right-handed quarterback, and he rolls when he rolls out, it's to the right, right? Once in a great while, you'll see him roll out to the left and attempt something. But most of the time, Garoppolo's rolling to the right, and that's where the pressure is coming from. So I think that just needs to get fixed. Randall Riley says he ran for over 150 yards tonight and took some hits tonight. A lot. I don't know who you're talking. Jalen Hurts. Oh, okay. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. 150 yards tonight and took some hits. Yeah, man, that's the thing. See, I don't know how smart he's being about it. He could very well end up like Trey Lance. And so yeah, man. Like I was talking about earlier too, with the pressures, there was a point in time, you guys probably remember, where Garoppolo got hit, kind of bent his left knee, and he was looked like he was grimacing or yelling or something, bro. Like he was in pain. So I got really worried, man, because if it's not Garoppolo at this point in time, it's gonna be Brock Purdy. And we don't know what we have in Brock Purdy, but what we saw from that Chiefs game was not very promising. What we saw in the preseason was like a whole different Brock Purdy. I don't know what we got in that Chiefs game. I don't know if that was a him playing possum or what was going on. The one good thing I could take away with that was his connection and his chemistry with Ray McLeod. That's Brock Purdy with Ray McLeod. So that was positive. Outside of that, man, it was pretty ugly. But so yeah, dude, we got to protect Garoppolo better. He has a quick release, so that gives you an advantage. I think we saw a couple times tonight. I know I definitely did, where Garoppolo saved the plays with his quick release. Any other quarterback would have went down and had that deflected or just had that hit the ground or something. So, like I said, man, Garoppolo is probably the right quarterback for this team at this time because of all the pressure, the lack of pass protection. Right, he has that quick release to kind of balance that out. Let me see if we got any more comments. We got Randy Daytona in here. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing good tonight. Let me know what you guys think about this win, man. How you guys feel? Any thoughts? Any extra thoughts? I know I'm kind of later on in the evening. I kind of try to let everybody else shoot their shot as far as their post game reactions because I don't want to get too caught up in the storm where there's too much traffic going on, and then you got people who don't know what to watch, when to watch it, and this and that. So I kind of like to just wait till everybody's free and available and not so many live streams going on because I think it takes away from the overall experience for one. Brian Culp says Tabor Pepper is the MVP. His name wasn't called once. The man did his job to perfection. And that's the one guy we can always rely on. Him, Mitch Wishnowsky, Robbie Gould, those are guys on a consistent basis. Everybody makes mistakes, man, but those guys are super clutch, and I don't think they get enough respect. So yeah, Brian, thanks, bro. Let's give those guys some kudos. The special teams, like I said earlier, all three phases of the game have to show up. Seems like two of them did, and then the last phase, the offense kind of took half a day off. So I don't know what's going on there, but the other two phases of the game, special teams and defense, consistently have been doing a great job. So I love it. Yeah, man. So there's that. Thanks for that, Brian. Bear Tribe says, what's your opinion on the fouls on both sides? I definitely think there was some bullshit. I'll give you that. I don't have an exact memory of everything that went on. I know there was the penalty on Bosa for the supposed roughing the passer or whatever it was. What is it? I don't know, I forget what the call was. I was watching the game with no sound too, so that was tough, man. First time in a long time that I had to watch the game with no sound because the sports bar that I go to, typically the whatever game is on the big screen, that's the one that we're listening to. And of course, since I'm in Cardinals territory, Cardinals were playing at the same time as us, so they're showing that garbage ass game. And so I didn't get to hear the 49ers game, the game actually worth listening to. The manager of the place is and I think he's actually the owner too, but he's in charge of the remote and stuff like that, so I know him. He's a Vikings fan, and he came up to me afterwards. He's like, "Good game." I was like, "Yeah, you should put the damn game on the big screen. F the Cardinals." No, but he usually hooks me up, so it's cool. But back to the question. Sorry about the rant. Um, the Bosa call was bullshit. That's for one. I don't remember too many others. I think there was the one with the grabbing the fingertips. I could see where maybe you can call that, but I think it was so small of a factor that I don't know, man. That's really a toss up. It's kind of more like how individually as a referee you feel. Me myself, I wouldn't call it. Of course, I'm a 49ers fan. That was it was Sam Womack. That was who it was. So the receiver was looking for that penalty. He didn't get it, so that was awesome. So when we talk about the fouls, I want to talk about some of the good non fouls that happened as well, and I think that was one of them. But if you guys could remind me of some of the penalties, I did forget. Um, I've been pretty busy after the game. Played a little bit of pool too. Randy Daytona says Wolfcast after darkness. Hey, I like it. That might be a thing, huh? I might start doing the morning and a after darkness show. Have to come on with a good intro, some good sound effects. But Team Cali, good to see you again as well. Phantom holding call on Kittle. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Yep, that's a great one to bring up. That was bull crap. Beautiful run from Mitchell, man. There's always that moment where you kind of take a step back and you're like, oh man, please don't be a penalty. Please don't have a holding. Please don't have any of that stuff, man. And it looked pretty clear from everything. Of course, when they show the replay, there's that. I'm talking outside of that. When you initially see the play, it looked perfect. It was beautiful, beautiful play call, all that stuff. I don't know why they didn't try it again. I know that Elijah Mitchell went out in the second half, so there is that. But you can call it for J.P. Mason or somebody, man. I love the play call, but that holding call on Kittle was bullshit, man. That's ridiculous, dude. They're kind of both grabbing each other's arm. It wasn't like he's grabbing his shoulder pad or anything like that. So I just thought it was ridiculous. That was definitely one that I do remember now that you mention it. The halfback draw touchdown by Elijah Mitchell that really should have been a touchdown. So that's where stuff like that, with the offense, they did good things today. They moved the ball well, all that type of stuff. It's just when it came time to scoring, all they could get was field goals. One touchdown that was very, like even the Jennings touchdown, a little bit underthrown. I think Jimmy Garoppolo could have put a little more air on it. I know some people were talking about if it were any other safety or 9 times out of 10, Tyrann Mathieu would have intercepted that. I disagree. Garoppolo put it in a place where the dude had to jump up and try to one-hand it. Still only got it with his fingertips. He only got the tip of the ball. He deflected it with his fingertips. So I think that tells you everything you need to know. And Tyrann Mathieu is in a small guy, so maybe if you're Garoppolo, put a little more air under it. But at the same time, I think that's one where you expect Juwan Jennings to body the corner and overpower him regardless, and high point the ball is another thing. So either way, that should have been a touchdown in my opinion. And this is something that I've been talking about too with Juwan Jennings. This is a guy where you want to see more 50-50 balls. He's one of the bigger receivers in the league, so why not toss him? Like corners, for the most part, they're usually pretty small, around 6 feet, 5'10", 5'11" is usually the size of a corner. or defensive back if you want to include safeties, maybe 6'1", 6'2", typically. Usually wide receivers are to begin with are taller than corners, DBs, especially when you got a guy like Juwan Jennings. Throw him more 50-50 balls where he can be like that box out rebound guy who overpowers and out physicals DBs. And this is a time where Garoppolo gave him an opportunity. He didn't exactly out physical him, but at least he made the catch, so it was great. I'm not going to knock on Garoppolo for that. Did you see more face masks today? Oh man, there was a face mask. I don't remember what face mask it was. Might have been on no. I don't know. I don't even remember, man. I'm telling you guys, I have such a horrible memory. If I don't write it down, then I probably won't remember it for the most part. But none that stick out to me, man. I apologize. But like I said, if you guys okay, see, and here's the thing too, where Brian says, getting back to what Bear Tribe said, lots of late hits on Jimmy G. That's what I was talking about. I was like, that's why I hated that penalty on Bosa so much, was like all the late hits on Garoppolo, and he was taking nasty hits, man. He was getting driven to the ground, horrible stuff. And then you barely touch who was it, Andy Dalton, I think it was, because they were rotating Taysom Hill in so much, trying to get something going with him, that I forget who was in at quarterback at the time. I think it was Taysom Hill actually. And Bosa gets the hit like a half second, not even a half second after he lets go of the ball for a pass, right? And he gets called for it. It's like, dude, what's going on with the other side of the ball? It's supposed to be a home game for us, so at least call it equally, right? So it's ridiculous, man. Other teams around the league, the refs don't call holding when Bosa's getting held, but when he hits a quarterback, they're going to call penalties. And then on the flip side, when it's our offense on the field, we're the ones getting penalized. No defensive lineman is getting called for unnecessary roughness or any stuff like that, roughing the passer. So that was what pissed me off about the Bosa penalty. So thanks for bringing that up. Refs were shitty today. What? I don't know what that emoji is. But yeah, either way, I agree with you. Information Man Show says peace and respect, new to the channel. Hey, I appreciate you being here very much, and the peace and respect as well. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Everybody sub to the channel now, says Information Man Show. And yes, very much. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of hits. And Randy Daytona says everyone should wear visors. Would take care of half of the face mask calls. That's a good point, man. Even like, let's say for example, where Kyle Juszczyk, when he got his finger caught in the defender's face mask on accident just from a stiff arm, ended up bending his pinky and breaking it basically in half. So I don't know, man. It's up to the player though, too, at the same time. It's just kind of a weird thing. I know I was one of the players that never wanted to wear a visor. I didn't wear gloves and stuff like that. So it's all preference, man. We're going to have to see if that's later on. That might be something that the NFL implements. But Rafael 5629ers is in here, said, what's up, Niner Gang Wolfcast and everyone? Hey, what's up, bro? Hope you're having a great night. Let me know your thoughts on anything you want to bring up. Any initial thoughts about the game today, man? Like I'm telling everybody, like I understand everybody that says, a win is a win. I'm not that kind of fan though. I'm the kind of fan that expects more. I expect greatness. I'm a 49ers fan because of the greatness in 49ers past, and even in the recent history that we've had with the 49ers, I'm a 49ers fan because of the greatness. I'm not here for mediocrity. I'm not here for shoulda, coulda, wouldas, any of that stuff. What I'm here for is for my team to perform at the level that I expect it to with the pieces that we have. So, if they overachieve, that's fantastic. But if they underachieve, I'm not having it, man. So regardless, I think the offense was lackluster, and we need to see more from them. We got Brandon Ferrigno in here as well. Hey, man, good to have you in here. Thanks for being here, Brandon. And good meeting you on the other show as well with 49er Sickness Podcast, man. Thanks for joining in. Raphael's 5629er has a great question about who gets the game ball. I think it has to be somebody on the defense. You're catching me off guard, man. Like, this is my reaction show, and really, I haven't thought about this question. If you ask me initially, man, this is tough. Like, Jimmy Ward played really good. I think Bosa is always a monster, man. I might have to give it to Bosa, man. He's a captain. He's always just relentless. The defense starts with the D line, and it's just like it gets repetitive, man. Yeah, I would say Bosa, maybe even Greenlaw. Greenlaw was flying around making some badass plays. So that's a tough one. They might have to share a ball, Bosa and Greenlaw, man. You know, because like even Greenlaw was making a lot of great plays in coverage, and you know when Hafunga punched the ball out, like we talked about earlier, Greenlaw was the first guy there. None of that would have happened if Greenlaw wasn't in coverage and didn't make a play on Kamara first. That would have been an easy touchdown. So got to give props to Greenlaw, and it's really tough. Probably still have to give it to Bosa, man. We have to give Bosa something positive, right? Because the league over and over again, the refs are doing him dirty on a weekly basis. So on a quarter to quarter basis, it's ridiculous, man. So yeah, let's give Bosa the game ball for that fact as well. Let me know what you guys think. And I did see that Raphael 5629er did say like and subscribe, everybody. Yeah, please. I would really appreciate everybody if they can stop everything that they're doing right now. Drop the comments, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get all notifications. That would be great. And thanks, Raphael, as always, man. David's talking about this little emoji. I can't see what it is, but he says it's a trash can. You're talking about McGlinchey, right? I think that's what you were talking about. Randy Daytona says visors are intimidating, in my opinion. Yeah, man. For some players that does work really well, man. It does. I think especially, that's something for the defense. But when you see defensive players wearing visors, yeah, that is something that looks a little more intimidating. They almost look like a RoboCop or a Predator or like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger or something like that. So yeah, no, I agree. That's the thing. And it's just, I don't know. Like for me, myself, I don't know how the average football player feels, how the majority of football players feel. But for me, myself, I liked everything to be as natural as possible. I feel like when I start adding too many things, it just got weird, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I agree with that. I'm trying to think of any players because I feel like we had some in like 2011 that wore visors on the defense, but not too many, man. Do the visors make it harder to see the ball? And that's the thing I've always I never even tried. But the visors that have tint are specifically made so that when you get the glare of the sun, glare of the lights, they're made so you can see the ball better, see the field better, and all that type of stuff. So pick your poison, man. Especially when it rains. I don't think you can have a visor on when it rains, man. That's going to be a step in the wrong direction. Raphael 5629er says thoughts on Mason. Thank you for bringing this up, Raphael. Thoughts on Mason getting some carries now. I love it, dude. We've been waiting to see this. I do kind of appreciate now that they waited to kind of have like the NFL's best kept secret in the backfield of the 49ers' offense. And hopefully, I hope Elijah Mitchell gets well very soon, man. And even CMC got banged up in his knee a little bit. So hopefully those guys are back and ready as soon as possible. But I really hope that Jordan Mason is showing the 49ers because he can show us all he wants, man. But this regime has shown us that they don't play guys based on what the fans think all the time. It's going to be based on their opinion and on what they see. So hopefully he's showing them enough to where they don't rush Elijah Mitchell back, and I'm going to get to this later with Raheem Mostert. Now that we're talking about the rushing back from injury, I'll talk about that at the end of the video. But yeah, man, JP Mason, I love what I'm seeing from him, man. Like even I was watching the game. I had a friend join me that's a Raiders fan, and so we're watching both games at the same time. And he's like, "Damn, there's that Mason kid, man." And he's like, pretty much seeing him for the first time. So yeah, man, I love what we have in those backups, and it's pretty cool that it's JP Mason and not TDP actually, because we have seen TDP. I haven't been impressed by what I've seen from TDP, but he hasn't gotten a lot of chances at the same time. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But JP Mason, when it just comes to solely him, I love what I'm seeing, man. Keep it up, JP. I want to see him in the receiving game. And this is something that I talked about because with the Dolphins, I'm seeing Jeff Wilson Jr. get the ball in the passing game a lot more than he did with the 49ers, which is weird because Jeff Wilson Jr. was one of the best receivers out of the backfield that the 49ers had prior to CMC joining. Jeff Wilson Jr. was the best wide receiver out of the running backs. I know some of you guys will probably get technical with me on that. Celts Chronicles, shout out to Celts Chronicles, man. Rich Celts, bro. Thanks for joining us, bro. Everybody go check out his channel as well, man. That's Celts Chronicles. He was on with us, I think Wednesday or Friday. Yeah, Wednesday, I think. But yeah, it was a great show, man. Great time. That was pretty awesome. Hopefully we could do it again sometime. Randy Daytona says they'd be sane as military grade. Same as visits 4K HD. And that reminds me of those. I wonder if anybody in the NFL has those visors that are like yellow, like they show in the commercials with the military grade yellow, super great vision sunglasses. That'd be interesting. David McNew says, "Me too, Wolfcast. We need an offense to go with our beast defense." Yeah, man. They just have to play catch up. They've been playing catch up the whole season, it seems like, man. And they had a couple good games, and it's like everybody let off the reins a little bit, it seems like. And so the 49ers got complacent because they got some praise, man. And it's kind of weird the way this team seems to operate when they get some praise. When they start getting to be part of that conversation for contender, they kind of let off the gas. I don't know what it is, man. It's weird. I don't want to point at their work ethic because I don't know their work ethic, but they're a championship caliber team, man. If they could get out of their own way, they can do it. I don't know what it is, if they're getting complacent, but I do think they're working very hard. I don't know what's going on. I do understand, like I said earlier, they had one less day to prepare than the Saints did. So there is that. Dang, I feel like I got something in my throat. No homo. Like I said, guys, if anybody has any comments or questions specifically for me, put 5 or 4 flame emojis in the comment/question so I know it's for me. I'm trying to sift through them right now so I can see if anybody specifically has any comments or questions for me or for me, so I can get to it. But yeah, if you guys could do that, 4 flames in the comment/question so I can get right to it. Randall Riley says game ball to the defense for pitching a shutout. I completely agree. If I could, I'd give it to the whole defense. Definitely, man. So I completely agree with that, man. They get, if like if we're sending the 49ers, let's say this was an away game, I'd send all the defense on first class, and I'd put I'd put the offense. I put the special teams in first class too, and I'd put the offense in what do you call it? The regular tickets. Why am I forgetting the name right now? You guys know what I mean, though. Cowboy Angel, thanks for being here as well, man. Bang bang Niner gang. They ain't scored a point. Yeah, man, that was dope. 49ers defense hasn't allowed any points in like the last 6 or 7 quarters of these last games that they've played. And you know what's crazy too is I'm sure you guys saw it during the broadcast was Garoppolo's actually up there with Joe Montana and Steve Young in another aspect of his game, man. This dude threw 59 starts as a quarterback in the NFL is up there with Steve Young and Joe Montana. Let me say that again. Jimmy Garoppolo is up there with Joe Montana and Steve Young. It was interesting, man. And I don't think it was in the same fashion. So I will say that about it. But I'm going to give him his props, man. At least at the end of the day, when this dude is healthy, we have a pretty good fighting chance. I do get like, the years where he wasn't healthy. We've struggled big time. Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard. I think that's all I got to say. Even who was it before he came? Brian Hoyer. Yeah. 49ers offensive line is the issue. What else on offense stops us? I don't want to say it stops us, but it does sometimes. It does kill drives when I'm sorry, because I completely agree with the O-line, but outside of that, one thing I can point to is definitely Kyle Shanahan getting too cute. There was a 4th and 1 where the 49ers just got really too cute on a 4th and 1. It might have been a 3rd and 1. I might be wrong. Where, Garoppolo's the king of quarterback sneaks. Dude is super elite when it comes to that. Instead of doing a quarterback sneak where he typically gains 2 to 3 yards, they do this cute little run to, I think it was Elijah Mitchell. They pull the guards, all that type of stuff, all the fancy stuff. And we ended up getting stuffed. Kills the drive. So stuff like that, man. Just Kyle Shanahan, get out of the way, play good football, man. You have the pieces to do it. At the end of the day, they'll make up for some of your lack of creativity or just you not trying to do too much. They will make it happen for you, is how I can say it. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. Celts Chronicles says we need touchdowns. Jimmy will do that. Jimmy will do what Jimmy does when we play the best. This is deja vu, Trey area. I get it, man. And that's the thing. We've said before, when Garoppolo does good, you got to give him his flowers. When he does bad, you got to hound him. When he's right in the middle, you can say that too. There's no I guess you could say criticism for kind of saying what it is, calling the situation what it is, right? And before this season, I would have said, yeah, I'm off Garoppolo, man. When it came to last season, the team was dragging him into the playoffs. He was kicking and screaming. I don't know why. A lot of times in the playoffs, his play just drops off the hill. I don't get it. We're just going to have to wait and see, man, because he's played really good this season. He didn't have an amazing game today, but he didn't have a bad game, I don't think, Celts. And I would like to know your thoughts on it, man. In my opinion, it was the O-line. Garoppolo definitely never had a moment to get comfortable, so there is that. I would like to know your thoughts, but yeah, Garoppolo's definitely how can I put this? Because I was a Trey Lance guy. I still am, of course. Can't wait to see what he can do. Yeah, I'm excited for him. Hopefully he's back sooner than later in a smart way. But as of right now, we have Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy, and I'm glad we have Jimmy Garoppolo, big time, man. And he's doing better than he's been doing because of his contract year, it seems like, and maybe some of Brian Greasy's coaching. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I think it's too soon to talk about the other stuff, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think, bro. Randall Riley says Niners can afford giving out 11 game balls on that defense. He'll give another one to DeMeco Ryans too. That's all I'm saying, man. When your defense has a game like that, that's at that point where your head coach or maybe even the whole coaching staff kind of like, hey, man, let's give our defense and our special teams something to feel good about. Hey, like And I could be wrong. I know this could be taken in a bunch of different ways, but you know, treat them to a dinner or something like that. Send them all chocolate cakes to their room or something. I don't know. uh, the Critty, I think that's how you say it. Offense. Sorry if I mispronounce it. I think it's Critty. Um, the offensive line is the issue. What else on offense? I think I already got to that one. Yeah. Um, there are definitely goggles with Rain X. LOL. Yeah, there is, man. You know, like when you ride a motorcycle and stuff like that, you could do stuff to your visor of your motorcycle. So yeah, I get that. I just think it's easier to see overall without the visor, but that's just me. Like I said, all the NFL players have their different preferences, man. So it's either stylistically or how they feel and stuff like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it is intimidating to have a visor on, especially when you play defense. So there is that. David McNew says Jimmy G is an issue. The Aints blitzed, stacked the box, and overloaded our own line today. Shanahan should have adjusted play calling to compensate, and Jimmy G needs to see the hot route. Yeah, there is that, man. I feel like part of when the Saints started stacking the box, they were making it a point to stop the underneath checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey, and so I think that was a big part of it too. Is you know, they weren't having to bracket him, but they were definitely putting an emphasis on covering him and limiting him, and so I think that was part of, you know. Maybe not covering downfield as much, but taking something away from Garoppolo underneath. So I think that caused more pressure. Um, but I do disagree with this, David, because you say Jimmy G is an issue. I don't. I completely disagree with that, bro. If it were Trey Lance and Trey Lance didn't have the opportunity to get out of the pocket, when Trey Lance throws, he has more of a rounding effect with his arm, with his hand. So there's that more chance for the ball to get batted out, and his release isn't as quick. So as of right now, until we get a better O line, I don't think I don't think this O line is suited or really even. I'll just say the O line because Trey Lance adds more to the offense. So I can't say to the offense. I'll just say to the O line. Garoppolo is probably the best thing for this O line right now. And then we'll see how things happen too, man, because hopefully we'll kind of fix some pieces here and there. McGlinchey. And we'll see how things go. Cowboy Angel says Mason averaged 5 yards a carry tonight. And you know what? I didn't check the average out, but it seemed like a lot more to me, dude. It seemed like this dude was getting 9 yards every carry, 10 yards, 8 yards, 9 yards. So I would have thought he averaged like 8. I think he got stuffed for like 1 or 2. So that probably really drastically brought the average down, especially since he didn't get to have so many attempts. But really, on a consistent basis, it seemed like he was getting 8 to 9 yards. So I love what I'm seeing from him, man. Um, Randall Riley says Mason runs with can't wait to see more. I don't know what that emoji is, but I'm assuming it's grit, something like that. I get the gist of it. So yeah, I completely agree. And I want to see him. I want to see how his hands are because that was something that was talked about too. That he's a really explosive player, but he's a good receiver out of the backfield as well. So I want to see that aspect of his game. Bear Tribe says Mitchell was looking badass on those few plays he got. Yeah, man. And that's the thing about Mitchell. That's why it was rough to see Jeff Wilson go because, you know, I think we all kind of saw this coming. But I understand why Jeff Wilson had to go. And it sucks, especially knowing who he went to, because, you know, it's going to depend on when Mitchell comes back. But if Mitchell doesn't come back anytime soon, Jeff Wilson and Mostert might have the best tandem over there. And I know, I think Mostert's actually hurt right now. So we're going to have to see what happens with him. I don't know if he's going to play against the 49ers next week. And that would definitely be in the 49ers' favor. But I'm sure after some of the statements he made today, that some of the 49ers would like to lay a good hit on him. But we'll have to see, man. But Mitchell, just hope you're back soon, bro. Because when he is in there, he looks great. But the problem is keeping him healthy. That's the problem. And we knew that. Mason is a juggernaut, says Randy Daytona. I agree. Got Corey Davis in the house. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing good tonight. Let me see. Macchiano, good to have you in the house, says, I'm just glad they beat the Aints. At the end of the day, that's what I'm happy about, that the 49ers got to win. You know, I'm going to nitpick, you know, when I give you guys my honest reaction, it's honestly what I feel. It was completely lackluster. We should have annihilated this team with the way, especially the defense was performing. We should have completely annihilated this team and done like Cowboy Angel. I don't know what this score prediction was or what it is, but it should have looked more something like 40-0 or something like that too. So maybe even 40-19. You know, in garbage time, the Saints get a couple points. But yeah, this offense is not doing enough at this point. Brian Kolb says, your thoughts, do the Niners play up to their opponent or down? Will the Niners keep up with Miami or slow down the Dolphins? You know what, man? I think, and I have to check the stats, but as of right now, I think the Saints have the better defense in Miami. They don't scare me as much defensively. I do know that the 49ers are going to have to put up points because I think the Dolphins are going to put up points against us. They have good running backs. They have good wide receivers. They have a good quarterback, all that type of stuff. So the 49ers, to answer your first question, they've definitely been playing down to their opponent for the most part. You know, I think the exception was against the Cardinals, but you want it to be the rule, not the exception, right? Is that the 49ers consistently play to their potential, not down to the opponent. And I'm just going to be honest, man, they have been playing down outside of that, probably that Cardinals game and maybe the Saints game, division opponents. We need to see it against teams that aren't division opponents as well. When the 49ers whoop on teams, it needs to be on somebody outside of the division. Like, for example, not a great team in the Saints that's outside the division. So ridiculous. Yeah, the 49ers, hopefully it gets them fired up, especially with the comments that came out. I know you guys have all heard how Mostert, Jeff Wilson were asked about the 49ers, and they gave thoughts on it. And not Jeff Wilson wasn't really bashing the 49ers, you know, from my understanding, what I saw, but Mostert was pretty much. And it's pretty ridiculous. I thought it was a bullshit move. The stuff he was saying, it's ridiculous. Basically, I got to get the quote in front of me, so I'll probably just talk about it tomorrow. But he's talking about how the 49ers rushed him back from injury and just basically just bashing overall the 49ers and the way they handle things. Is just like, dude, you wouldn't even be in the NFL right now if it weren't for the 49ers. So you should probably just go ahead and be grateful and shut your damn mouth, bro, because it's pretty ridiculous at this point. You know, right away, the dude doesn't even have a great season in 2019. He had a great back end of the season. So not a full season. He had a great back end of the season, pretty great postseason. Didn't even become really a great factor in the Super Bowl. So, and then he wanted to cry about a contract. 49ers give him money and he still wants to cry. So it's like, dude, at what point are you going to stop crying? I don't get it. Yeah, so hopefully the 49ers, you know, because this is the time, just, you know, offense, forget about this, dude, because this is ridiculous. Get to work. Get to the Dolphins and be ready to fire on all cylinders. But we got Last Second Sports in the house. Jesse Naylor, one of the guys that's been on my show. I appreciate you, man. Hope you're having a great night, dude. And if any, we got a bot in here, man. Where's my moderators at? You moderators slacking on the job. Gotta let me see. Gotta kick this bot out real quick. Sorry. Oh, I guess you guys did kick him out already. I don't know. It's not letting me do it. But yeah, Jesse, let me get your thoughts on I know I listened to your post game, but if you want to bring anything specific up in this video, this live stream, let me know. Dominate 49ers says, and thank you for being here. Jimmy was up on the screen with Joe Montana and Steve Young passing them on the win-loss as a 49er starter. And yeah, it is fire, man. I agree with you that it's badass. It's a different context. I think the other two quarterbacks that we're talking about did it in a different fashion where they kind of more put teams on their back, especially in crucial moments. Garoppolo's not that guy so much, but you can't argue with the win-loss record, especially when Garoppolo's not the quarterback, the win-loss record for the 49ers. Like under Kyle Shanahan overall. So yeah, gotta give him his kudos. It's in a different fashion, but it is what it is. The numbers there at the end of the day. So yeah, man, that was badass, and I'm happy for him. I hope he gets all the respect and love that he deserves coming his way. All the stuff that kind of knocks out the hate that he's been getting for the past couple years. But hopefully that motivates him to grind and do better and continue to do better, not just in contract years. David McNew says, I'm just hoping the injuries sustained today aren't bad. Yeah, man, I completely agree. I think Burford and Elijah Mitchell are the big ones. I don't remember too much. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this, but I didn't think Debo should have played really at all unless it was out of necessity today. I talked about it earlier. I think some of the other receivers we have on the back burner are better route runners and even probably have better hands than Debo. Maybe they won't get you the yak, but it is what it is, man. If you can give Garoppolo a consistent receiver, and I think this is the time too in practice to where you get that chemistry built with those other guys too. Just in case anything, knock on wood. But yeah, man, I didn't think it was a good idea to play Debo at all. I'm glad he came out. It seems like he came out healthy, so that's good. But I wouldn't have even risked it with that soft tissue stuff. It's super unreliable. Like anything could happen. When his muscle is just barely healed from it, it's still tender. So I would have just waited till the Dolphins, especially if you risk losing him in this game and you don't have him for the Dolphins, then who looks silly, right? You're going to look very silly. Greenlaw will cause a fumble on Jeff Wilson Jr. Hey, you guys heard it here first. Raphael 5629er says Greenlaw is going to cause a fumble. Hopefully a peanut punch on Jeff Wilson Jr., and I hope so. If Mostert plays, I hope Fred Warner goes and peanut punches him, and I hope Hufanga cracks on both of them, man. And yeah, let's gang up on them. Let's put a whooping on them. But you know what, man? I don't really have animosity towards Jeff Wilson Jr. But what I will say about what Mostert said, because maybe full-heartedly he doesn't mean what he said, this might just be strategic, especially right before the game for this to come out against the Saints, kind of get the 49ers off their tracks a little bit, maybe. Maybe that's what Mostert was doing. Maybe he doesn't mean it full-heartedly, so I don't know. But I don't think there's really any reason to have animosity towards Jeff Wilson Jr. He said the 49ers did what benefited him in the long run as well, so that he can have an opportunity to get that contract. So he's understanding about it. It's Mostert that's being a little diva, like we've seen in the past. Let me see. Brian Colt throws four flames in the comments. Says first place NFC West Seattle lost to the Raiders. Yeah, man. See, here's the thing. I was very torn, man, because I cannot stand the Raiders. To save my life, I cannot stand the Raiders. There's a couple gems here and there of Raiders fans, but for the most part, the overall fan base, I cannot stand those people, man. And I have family members that are Raiders fans, and I'm like, dude, it's way brighter on this side. Just come over here, man. Come on. I feel bad for you. Like, dang, for real. But yeah, so I was really torn. Seattle lost. I was rooting for Seattle because I can't stand the Raiders, but I understood why I was kind of at the same time rooting for them to lose so that we could be first place in the division by a wider margin. But regardless, I know people are worried about playing the Seahawks. They say that's going to be a really tough game in Seattle, and it looked like it was snowing today in Seattle already, so that might be another factor at the end of the season. But I don't see it, man. I don't see it. The defense is still playing great. Last time we whooped their ass 24-9. So I think it's just going to be another great showing of the 49ers whooping on a division opponent against the Seahawks, especially when you lose to the Raiders. So I don't get where people are coming at me about this team and the Seahawks being so much better than they were when we last played them. And they're a team to worry about. This I don't see it. If I would have worried about anybody, you guys heard it here first. I told you guys, if it's going to be anybody in the division, I would have said. I told you guys it was going to be the Cardinals. Why? Just because of the unknown, right? The mystery behind it. We hadn't played them yet. Now we've played them. We whooped on them. But next time they're probably going to have Kyler Murray. So it's you guys got to expect a different matchup when we see the Cardinals at home because I mean, to begin with, the 49ers aren't a great home team to begin with, right? I think we saw it today against the Saints. 49ers have a home game against the Saints, and then what does the offense do? They lay a complete stinker. Well, sure, we outscored the Saints, but I mean, still, that's a stinker to me. I expect greater. And it was at home, so I would expect even better because of that. So I just don't see it with the Seahawks, guys, especially when they lose to a team like the Raiders. Um, I guess they deserve to get their ass beat if that's if that's what's going to happen. And I can't believe that run by Josh Jacobs in overtime. That was crazy. Um, I'm not going to give anybody kudos in that game because F both those teams. And I do have friends that are Raider fans, so I love you guys, but I can't stand your team. It is what it is. Macchiano says, "You think that whole NFC is soft this year?" Um, Not soft, but I've talked about it before where like the NFL has so much rotation and overturn with players, coaches, all this stuff, half the 49ers are in Miami right now and it's just on a year-to-year basis. It's ridiculous how much complete rotation we have around the NFL to where some people call it mediocrity. I don't call it that because first and foremost, this is the NFL. These are for the most part the greatest players around the world at this time in at the present time. These are the best players in the world all competing together. Now some coaches and stuff like that, they fit the pieces better, right? So that's the thing. And that's why any team can win any Sunday because at the end of the day, all these teams are made up of the greatest players around the world from around the world. So that's the thing. I don't think the NFC is soft. Anybody can win at any given day, any given Sunday, like they say. It's just you just have to execute. And I kind of miss those dynasty days with no salary cap and all that type of stuff. But we're not living in that time at this point in time. So that's the thing we got to kind of live with right now. Especially when you got big contracts with the salary cap where you have a star player and if he goes down, then you're screwed. And I think there should be more of a spread of the wealth throughout the NFL with second and third string players as well. But you know what? Let me get back to this real quick. Because the NFC, the way, I mean, I don't know how to phrase it, but I do feel good no matter who the 49ers go against. And outside of the Chiefs, even the AFC, no matter who the 49ers face, and I'm including the Bills in this, I'm including everybody but the Chiefs. I feel really good about the 49ers' chances against any team in the NFL except for the Chiefs. Now, what I do feel good about is if we were to return to the Super Bowl and have a rematch with the Chiefs, I think it would be a very different matchup. For example, while the defense is playing better than they were once Mosley went down, we lost to the Falcons. Everybody was hurt against the Falcons, still pretty hurt against the Chiefs, but some of those guys were coming back and Christian McCaffrey just got there. So things were just kind of weird at the time that we faced the Chiefs. The 49ers would have time to look at that film and kind of adjust to what happened in that matchup and have a better matchup. And I think it would be a very close game. I would feel pretty good about that matchup as well against the Chiefs, but I would still be worried. Outside of that, man, um, like I said, I feel good about everybody. Celts Chronicles. I was watching some other stuff, like Vish, um, Corey Davis, Jesse on Last Second Sports. I was watching so many things that I did see the title to this. Celts Chronicles says, "Did y'all see Trey warming up?" I saw videos with that. What do you call it? That title, and I wanted to watch it, but I was watching something at the time, so I don't want to take away from it. But I am gonna watch it, man. And like I said, I've been seeing him jog around, walk around. Even though it wasn't warm ups, it was just what was it? It was just he was just running around the field prior to the game and stuff like that. So I can still see where he's kind of babying that ankle, but it's understandable. And I just, man, I'm gonna go watch that video, and I can't wait to see it, man, because I'm a Trey guy. I love Trey Lance. I can't wait to see what he's got. I love what Jimmy Garoppolo's doing for the team right now. So I just want to see them work hand in hand, and both of them get a Super Bowl ring this year. Yeah, I want to see Trey Lance doing good, man, because I feel like he was cut short by Kyle Shanahan's stupidity, um, which it was an option. So allegedly, Trey Lance could have handed it off. So he takes some fault in it, but still, at the end of the day, you got to have better play calls for him, I think. Dominate 49ers says, I heard that Mostert and Wilson are both injured. Oh, I heard about Mostert. I don't know about Jeff Wilson Jet. Jeff Wilson Jet. Better not be the Jet. Jeff Wilson yet. I was trying to watch a game, but I didn't get the chance to. I just watched part of it, and the little parts that I did watch were he looked pretty good. Like I said, I saw him being acclimated or being utilized in the passing offense as well. So that's something the 49ers should have done more with him. I never understood why they went away from that. I know you guys remember the game-winning touchdown against the Cardinals in 2019 that Jeff Wilson caught. Stuff like that, man. Not every running back is going to make that catch. But yeah, well, we're going to have to check on that. That's definitely going to be something to look at during the week. And if both those guys are injured, man, I think the Miami Dolphins are going to be very worried. David McNew says, Faders versus Sea Chickens was my toilet bowl pick of the week. 100%, dude. David McNew is always coming up with the funniest jokes, man, I swear. He comes up with the best nicknames and all that stuff. Toilet bowl pick of the week. And if you guys haven't seen that toilet picture of the Raiders stadium, go check it out. Look up Raiders Las Vegas Stadium toilet or something like that. Just Google search that. It's hilarious. It's a big black toilet. Looks exactly like their stadium. But that's my initial thoughts. I think we'll probably go more in depth tomorrow. Let me know if you guys got any closing thoughts or questions. I did write something down that Brian Culp kind of alluded to earlier, where the 49ers played down to their to their opposing team. And I had this thought earlier. I'm glad I looked at it right now. So we tend to lack in our home games, right? I already talked about it. But the thing is, too, I feel like the 49ers play down to their environment. When it's a playoff environment, the 49ers play like a playoff team. And so that's kind of just something to, food for thought, something you guys can take with you and kind of think about. But that is something that I've noticed with the 49ers is if the environment isn't like a playoff environment, then the 49ers just lack, man. So that's why I like when they wear the 94 throwback jerseys. And so they play with a different swag. So that kind of plays into it too, man. I feel like if the 49ers, I would love for them, like, look at this jersey I have on right now, Jimmy Ward, 94 throwback. Those are only jerseys I like. I don't like the other ones, man. I don't like the gold pants. I like the white pants. I feel like the 49ers play with a different swag. I know the Chiefs game was in the 94 throwbacks, But outside of that, the 49ers always play pretty badass when it's those jerseys and good environment. Dominate 49er says, "Are you from Hawaii?" I am not, bro, but I have gotten that before. I've had people ask me if I'm Hawaiian or Filipino. I'm native. So I'm Hickory, Apache, and Mayan. And so, yeah, but I'm from California. Grew up in California. Yeah, that's part of the reason I wasn't here the past couple days. I wasn't broadcasting and stuff like that. I just got back from the res today, right before the game, from the reservation. Was riding horses around and stuff like that. Ended up losing my wallet too to top it off, which usually I'm pretty smart about. I'll put my wallet somewhere where it can't fall out of my pocket. Ended up falling out of my pocket, and pretty sure a wolf got onto it or something, man, because couldn't find it anywhere, and there was like big old wolf tracks everywhere. They're probably about size of my palm. Big wolf tracks all over the place, coming from all different directions, and the animals out there have been getting attacked and stuff. So, yeah, we had to ride carefully out there on the horses, make sure we were on alert. Had the dogs following us and stuff too. Brian Culp says, "Great team win. Niners need gritty wins as well as blowouts." Yeah, 100%. And I do get that aspect of it. So it's good. You know, like I talked about this earlier in the live stream was in 2019, the 49ers were finding different ways to win. But I want to see it, you know, and there were a few games in 2019, you know, because I will say this, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl that year, right? And there were games like this, pretty similar to this, where the defense was winning us those games. So we can point to that and still have hope. You know, the Washington game that year wasn't great for us. That was in the rain. The Ravens game was a close one that we lost by like 1 point. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 1 point against the Ravens. Trying to remember what other games, but there were games in 2019 that were very close, and we kind of had to tough it out like this one. But it's just like when you're going against a team like the Saints, I don't understand why it ended up being this kind of game. So I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's all I got to say about that. Brian Culp says black uniforms are my least favorite. I 100% agree. Throw those. I know some people like them, but for me, just throw them out. Forget about them. I never liked those jerseys, especially with the Cardinals having like almost the exact same jersey. There's that thing too, but I just don't like them overall. I never really got it. I just like the '94 throwbacks, and you know, maybe they'll start to kind of experiment with stuff and come out with some cool stuff. I've seen some really cool like concept art for helmets that are pretty badass, like really shiny gold helmets that are really cool. You know, get the '94 throwbacks as the full-time jerseys, and then mix in some of that other experimental stuff in there, and we could kind of see what we like. I think that'd be pretty cool, and it'd be kind of like a money situation too for them, where they can make a profit off of it for the 49er fans buying stuff like that. The concept art type stuff, prototypes. Raphael 5629er says all NFC West teams lost except us. Yeah, that was the good thing that came out of the losses today for those guys. And I thought the Cardinals were going to get it at the end against the Chargers, and like I said, I was watching it with the Raiders fan, so you know, he was rooting for the Cardinals, and I was like, man, I can't stand the Cardinals, bro. And so I was like, dude, I'm rooting for the Chargers. I'm sorry. But yeah, good to see them all get a loss today. But I did want to see the Seahawks beat the Raiders. You know, I think that's a good time to call it quits, guys, for the night. I really appreciate everybody being here. Don't forget, please like the video. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Turn on your bell notification for all notifications, please. That's right it's right by the subscription tab. So no excuses. You guys know where it's at. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Glad the 49ers got the win. At the end of the day, we won. So I love it. But 49ers, let's be ready to whoop some ass against the Dolphins. We need to put Mike McDaniels in his place. We need to put Mostert in his place. Jeff Wilson Jr., Tyreek Hill, put those MFers in their place. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. Hope everybody has a great night. And all you guys, salute to you guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Got Brian Culp saying, great show. Information Man Show says, thank you for the stream. No, thank you guys, man. Without you guys, I wouldn't be doing it for sure. So thanks, David, as well. Good stream. Yeah, everybody have a great night. Really appreciate you. And go Niners.